channel. It is Mary here, you guys, and today we are going to be talking about the Victoria's Secret Fashion Show 2025. It came out earlier this week, you guys, and it was quite an amazing fashion show. And I really just wanted to get into it. I know it's not like the typical fashion we talk about. This is usually we talk about other things. But this is lingerie, and it also is a form of fashion, especially with a lot of the, nude fashion that we be seeing sometimes. So I wanted to kind of get into it and just not just get into the fashion, but also get into the overall performances as well as the fashion, and then also the diversity, because as you guys know, they were kind of out of business for a little bit, and they did come back, and they have been trying to show different types of looks, different women, and trying to show that lingerie is sexy, is not a body type, but it's a it is a way of being. I think Angel Reese had posted that on her in Twitter. But speaking of Angel Reese, she was one of the girls that was there, and she made history because she was one of the first she is the first pro athlete to actually start in the Victoria's Secret show. Now there is somebody else that also started it. I do believe her name is Suni Lee. I think that she's a gymnast, and Angel Reese is a WNBA star. So they also were walking the runway, as well as some really amazing models. I think you guys know Precious. She was also there. This is one of my favorites. I don't know if you guys watch the show Zack and Cody, but I loved that show growing up. Zack's wife, Dylan Sprouse, her name is Barbara Sprouse now that she is now married to him. And he was there for his wife, and she's really gorgeous. She had an outfit on that I really, really loved, and it was kind of like in one of the sections of the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Apparently there was about 6 different types of themes going on. Obviously I kind of came up with my own names for each one. But the opening look of part 1 was a pregnant woman. I do believe her name was Jasmine Tokes, and she was pregnant. They had her walk out as the opening act for the Victoria's Secret fashion show, and she looks very beautiful. I actually really did love the pearls. I kind of thought it was kind of like an homage to women, just like, we create life and we're so beautiful, and that we're so powerful. And I love that they had a pregnant woman come out and also show that pregnant women are also very sexy and very beautiful. I love that, especially being that I am pregnant. And there are some days that I don't feel super, super sexy or anything like that. Like, for example, today, I could not zip up one of my dresses that I really, really, really love to wear. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm like only 3 months away and a baby will be here. And so I do appreciate that they had a pregnant woman come out and walk the runway. It was very refreshing. And she looked gorgeous. She looked radiant. And I do believe that this section of the show, it was called First Light. It was really a lot of creams, a lot of reds. It was really fiery. To me, it almost kind of like, the theme of it almost kind of represented like Phoenix to me. Just kind of like a woman rising up out of the ashes. But I love this section of the show. I had two sections that were my favorite. I probably will have to say it will be the pink section that had all the cherry blossoms. And then I would probably say my second favorite part of the show was probably First Light. I really did love First Light, which is the one that we just talked about just now. But I also really did love the Hot Pursuit. I feel like they had a lot of amazing pieces, and I love the way that Victoria's Secret kind of styles lingerie with all these different pieces, like even these long dresses that are like built, that are like lace. They have the slits, and they're like they're definitely nightgowns for sure, but they're also very sexy. But I love how they kind of pair lingerie with like everyday wear, and then also kind of make it fashionable. So it's like, yes, you're seeing a bunch of lingerie, but you're also kind of seeing it in a different way. They kind of dress up the lingerie in a gorgeous way between the wings, the headpieces. Sometimes they'll have pants or skirts paired with the looks, and then they'll have bodysuits as well. I think it's a good way to kind of show that lingerie can kind of be worn anywhere. I don't particularly do that per se. That's not really my thizzle. But I do like that they do try to show for women who do like to wear laundry at different places. I do like that they are able to kind of represent that throughout their fashion collection because the show was very well put together. Um, but yeah, the first collection, it really had a lot of, really it was like creams, golds, and reds for sure. And then they had a second part of the collection, which obviously was the cherry blossoms, and I thought it was very beautiful. They had a lot of dramatic capes, they had bustiers. It was kind of like pink galore. That whole entire section of the show was just pink, pink, pink. And it was really nice. That's when we saw Angel Reese come out for the first time, and this cherry blossom, like she had like this garter belt, that kind of like had cherry blossoms hanging off, and then she had like this really like gorgeous, like I guess it was like a cherry blossom shawl or something, but it was really gorgeous. I loved how they did the cherry blossoms for that section. It just tied in really well. And they had Madison Bear perform for that section, and I think the Madison Bear was the main performer that opened up the show. They did have a K-pop group called Twice come in for the halftime Pink show, where basically obviously Victoria's Secret has their sexier grown up line, and then they have like this section where it's really like for teens or young women or whatever the case may be, which is called Pink. So they did have like a Pink halftime show for that, where you kind of see not like super uber sexy lingerie there, but you do kind of see like really comfortable types of undergarments that teens probably would wear. They kind of paired it with like athleisure wear. You kind of see some of the models like in t-shirts and boy shorts, also in some jean jackets also. And I love the shoes. The shoes were everything in a bag of chips. I love, love, love the shoes. They were so cute. They kind of remind me of like the girl version of Timberlands. Like I don't know if you guys know those, but they basically like Timberlands. Like they had like these high heel Tims that were like obviously it had the same fabric as a Timberland shoe, but they were high heels and it kind of had like this thick like collar around it. That's what it kind of reminded me of. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is definitely like a football reference. The shoes and then just the outfits and the aesthetic. So I actually did like it, but I do love Pink's lingerie for sure. I think they have some really nice pieces, but I really liked Victoria's Secret's line for sure. And then with Twice performed for the Pink halftime show, but for Hot Pursuit, which was mainly the red section of the show, they had Karol G come out and perform, which I think that she's a Hispanic singer, or she sings in Spanish. I don't know really what her nationality is per se. I'm not really familiar with her music. For the longest time, I thought she was the girl that sang that song, Dancing in the Mirror, Singing in the Shower. Y'all know that song? I thought that's who Karol G was. I was like, I don't remember. Is that the same girl? I don't know. I gotta look. I gotta look it up and see. But I actually had called this, when I was making my notes reviewing the show, I actually had called this one Spanish Nights. If there's a really good song called Spanish Nights, if y'all don't know that song Spanish Nights, go check it out. It's a really nice, spicy song. But yeah, this one was actually called Hot Pursuit because, like I said, there were 6 sections of the show, which each one of them had a different type of theme. But this one was Hot Pursuit, and it was really quite spicy per se. I think I was watching it with my husband, the Victoria's Secret show. I was like, okay, I want to review this for my channel on Friday. And I remember I saw somebody walking down the runway and like her whole cheek was out, but like she was wearing a dress, so I didn't like expect it, but it was like this really, really low. I don't want to get, flagged or anything on this channel, but I'm sure y'all can go look it up online. If you watch the show, I know you know that look. But the dress was very low back, and I remember seeing it and I like screamed. He's like, "What you screaming?" I screamed, and then he's like, "Why are you screaming?" And he looked at the TV. I'm like, "Don't look." It was so funny because I never expected it. I didn't expect that. I was like, okay. I mean, it is a very it was a very sexy number. But yeah, quite the surprise to say the least. But it was definitely giving like spicy Christmas night vibes, like that whole entire show. I guess they had the Spanish music going, but that's what it was giving because they even had like some sparkly red fabrics and stuff like that, and it just kind of reminded me of like, oh, Christmas night with your boyfriend or husband or whatever. You guys are waking up in the morning, you know, that whole bit. Are going to bed. But yeah, it was like mainly 90s sleepwear. They had some really nice gowns. I really love Carol G's lace bodysuit. I was looking to see if that was on the website. I did not see that on the website. I did not see that lace bodysuit on the website, but they definitely should have it because that was a gorgeous number. What Carol G was wearing, the performer, I thought that was gorgeous. Gorgeous, okay? And then obviously they had another section, which this was part 5, which was basically, I think they called, what did they call this one? I do believe it was called Magic Hour. And this one had an array of colors, a lot of ombre colors for real. Pinks, purples, blues. It was really getting like sunset under the sea vibe. It was kind of like really like, you know, sunsets and sunrises. And then it kind of had like these blues and purples that kind of merged together. So I really did love the color palette of the part 5. This one had like a lot of baby dolls, bras and panties, and it had like sparkles, see-through dresses, and they had one of the most beautiful wings I had seen on the show was this orchid wing. It kind of looked like an orchid flower behind her, and it was so pretty. That was my favorite wing from the collection, from the whole show actually. And then Angel Reese actually closed out this section as well, and she looked fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And then their last section was basically, I called it Dark Angel, but they actually called it Black Tie. But this one was really nice because Anoki, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but you guys know she is this viral model who was photographed at Howard University, and next thing you know, she blew up and became like a model. I'm sure you guys all know her. She's all over the place. Gorgeous woman. I loved her her outfit in the black tie section of the show, because this was the last section of the show before Missy Elliott came out, which was a very nice surprise, must I say. But I loved her outfit. And then also they had like these really gorgeous like crystal garter belts that are actually made by Tanya Henry. I believe that I hate to have to I do believe she used to date Trey Songz. I think she used to be Trey Songz's longtime girlfriend for a while, but she actually makes a lot of really amazing like lingerie out of like jewelry. So her stuff was actually featured as well in this Victoria's Secret show, and I thought they looked really beautiful, especially with this. I hope they have her in future shows for sure. But I thought all of the jewelry garter belts were fabulous, and I thought that model did a really good job. She looked gorgeous with her chocolate hair. But she looked gorgeous with her chocolate hair, and I love the whole like homage to Beyonce, because as you guys know, Beyonce had that like crystal top in her debut album Crazy in Love. So I thought that was really beautiful. In this section of the show, it was like lace. It had garter belts, it had bodysuits, it had bras, panties, baby doll tops, and t-shirts and bras. Now there was 4 women that came out with that had like the t-shirt and bras, but somebody had styled one of them with a shirt underneath the bra, and then had the nerve to have the shirt tucked in. I'm like, that looks a hot ass mess. Like, who styled you? Because they need to be fired, because that was a hot mess. Like, yes, I know you're trying to do something different, but you don't have to do that, because she looked crazy. But also they had these really gorgeous silver fringe wings, and I absolutely loved that. That was completely gorgeous. But they had a lot of amazing things going on. I would say they are doing better with the diversity for sure than they were doing in past shows, like back in the day. But I do think that we do need to see more curvy models. I feel like I've only seen like I saw maybe like 3 or 4 curvy models, come out, but I really do feel like we need to see more curvy models because the average woman in America is a size 14, truthfully. So a lot of them are not super skinny. Like, yes, you have that aesthetic or whatever on the show, but I feel like they need to do better with having more diversity. I know they're sprinkling it in, but they definitely need to do more. I do feel like Rihanna, though, is the queen of diversity. Like, especially when she had her Savage X Fenty. I think she did a really, really amazing job. Now, I haven't really shopped with Savage X Fenty like that. I always have been a Victoria's Secret girl just because I really do love their bras. They're super supportive and all that stuff. But I do love Savage X Fenty. I do love their marketing. I do love their aesthetic. And I think Rihanna does a really amazing job of showing everyday people, like realistic everyday people. And I feel like Victoria's Secret needs to do more of that. I know they're just kind of starting back up and trying to get their feet wet or whatever, but they definitely need to do a lot better. But you guys let me know, do you guys think that they did well with the diversity, or do you think they need to step it up, or do you feel like you like how it was before? And if that's how you feel, that's fine. You put that down, but be nice. But Missy Elliott closed out the show. And I thought Missy Elliott did an amazing job. I absolutely love Missy Elliott. I feel like they had some really great performers. I probably would have liked to see some other people there for sure. I feel like Normani would have been good. I mean, because everybody really kind of performed like one or two or three songs. Normani would have been good. I would have loved if Ciara came out during the Missy Elliott bit. But I do feel like Missy Elliott closing out the show was awesome. It would have been nice if the models had kind of walked out to Missy Elliott, because Missy Elliott had everybody hyped in. It really livened up the show. And the models seemed to be quite energized backstage also. So I definitely would have said Ciara, her coming on would have been a great addition. And definitely Normani. Normani is a gorgeous girl. She performed at Savage X Fenty one time, and she did a great job. And she is gorgeous. She is snatched, honey. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you guys thought of the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Are you guys tuned in? Are you supporting them? Do you like their new direction? Do you love their lingerie? By the way, most of it's really more so a lot of bras and panties. You're not gonna see like a lot of like different types of unique pieces you saw on the show, because I do believe they are kind of styled together, but a lot of what you will find on the website are like the bras and the panties per se. But like in terms of the 90s, I did not really see a lot of 90s. I did see some bodysuits, I did see some corsets, you will see that there. But in terms of like the long 90s, I did not see those. I did not see many. I didn't see bodies. I didn't see like long full lace bodysuits. I didn't see those either. But I do feel like Victoria's Secret needs to do better with maybe having some of those on the website also. Because that lace bodysuit, I would have bought that in a heartbeat, honey. That was cute. But yes, you guys, let me know what you guys think of this show down below, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.